Welcome to our garden. This week we are composting.
So we've basically layered it with wood. I don't want to call it wood chips. It's wood shavings that we've got some horses here, and this is what they sleep in. So they've urinated and defecated on that. So and I've moistened it a little bit, and with dried leaves and with cow manure. Now, when the summer comes along and all these grass lawns need to be mowed, I will incorporate freshly cut grass, and that would help. That will make a different kind of compost. But the big thing about this is diversity. Is you want to increase the diversity. So like everything. So why I put the bucket in here is to aid in kickstarting this process. And how I like to activate my compost is with some kitchen scraps that we get from the kitchen here at the lodge. I'm just going to chuck that in, push it down. And eventually once we start turning the compost, that will be mixed. And then, okay, don't get grossed out by it, but the one of the most nitrogen-rich things that I've got at my disposal is my children's pee, and my own, obviously. So we're gonna chuck that in as well. We've spent, today's Sunday and yesterday, the kids know, can't pee in the bottle. Anyway, there we go. There. Okay, so that's done. All I need to do now is put some water and put the plastic cover on. What we're going to do is this compost will stay like this for the next week. And what I do is I stick a middle rod in. If you're following our Instagram handle, you would have seen Etienne checking the temperatures of the compost. So we'll just stick that rod in, and then we'll, in about this time next weekend, we'll test. So,
Yeah! I think I did work.
Yeah, if you finished eating it, we can put it in.
Yeah.
Okay. Stop, Etienne.
Sorry, and fortune.
Okay, let me just quickly open it up. Ooh, there's beans in there. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Start hitting as hard as you can.
Go, Etienne. You want to stand behind me.
Let me ask you, what's compost?
Compost? It is like almost like food and water for the plants to grow nice and healthy and strong.
Yeah, that's a good answer, but can I explain it to you nicely? So it's just...
chop down.
Okay,
But
fantastic.
I can't do.
Okay, you chop it. Ek praat met Boetie. Chop, Etienne. Okay. Jy kan nie langs my sit. Chop. Pas op by drum. Take that away. And chop that side. Chop, Etienne. So, do you understand composting now? It's a product of a nutrient cycle where it turns the old leaves and organic matter. Weet jy wat organic matter is? Organic matter is anything that's lived. So organic matter can be plants, can be animals, anything that's lived. And and compost recycles it so the tree can come up again. And any animal can be composted, or any plant can be composted. Do you understand? Has an elephant lived before? Elephants lived there. So technically we can compost an elephant. Or if an elephant dies, what would eat an elephant when it dies?
A lion!
A lion. Or
hyena.
yeah,
Hyena.
you thinking of all the big things, eh? What about all the small things?
Oh, mosquitoes, flies, and rats.
Flies, but what? A fly doesn't eat it. What does a fly lay?
Eggs.
And what does the eggs become?
Flies.
Maggots.
Maggots.
So thousands upon thousands of maggots and other bacteria will break down that elephant. But would you think it would be smelly?
Yes.
It would be very stinky, eh? But that's because it's a nitrogen rich that when it breaks down becomes very, very smelly. So what will eat that tree if it dies? Termites, eh? So termites is one thing. Then there's these beetles that will bore into the wood. But then there's also, but do you think that's a quick thing or a slow thing?
A slow thing.
It's very slow. And it's also not very smelly, eh? So what we can do is take the tree and the elephant and mix it. So, no, just think about it. It's exactly what we're doing here. We've taken cow manure that's very smelly
Yeah, it's very smelly.
and decomposes very quickly, and leaves which decomposes slowly, and we've mixed it. So now it's not smelly, but because the leaves that decompose slowly, we can speed up the process with cow manure. Hey,
Yes.
hit it. So my next question to you, Yavan, is how do we compost?
Like we cut vegetables.
Yeah, but how did we make this compost yesterday? Do you remember we spoke about the nutrient cycle? So there's two kinds of nutrient cycles. There's one where there's lots of trees. What is a place we call with lots of trees?
A forest.
A forest, yes.
And a jungle.
And a jungle. A jungle's a type of forest, exactly. So the type of nutrient cycling that happens in a forest is the leaves fall and they start to go in layers. Remember, that's how we did the compost yesterday. We did it in different layers. Then the microorganisms or microbes, that's all those hohos, they start to break it down to make it into compost, which the tree will use again. That's how it works in a forest, and that's how we do it here. We've done it in layers. We did some of that horse manure, some of the leaves, and
cow poop.
And cow poop, yes, cow manure, and all that. Then we put the starter in, and now we're working in the vegetables here.
Go! There's a race! Dun.
Okay, now composting, that's the creation of compost, and I'm going to show you a bit of compost amendment, things during the course of the composting process. So we'll turn this compost, the one we just made, in a week's time, but then after that we'll start turning it almost we turn it basically after the first week. We'll turn it every Saturday and Wednesday. It gets turned, so basically twice a week. But in this compost that I'm opening now is 4-week-old compost, and what I want to do now, the temperature started to come down. You can see that it's pretty much done. It's a really rich color, and all that cow manure and everything else we've put in here is no longer visible. It is nice, but I still want to give this another week. We still got a little bit of compost left over, but I want to amend this. This is from the worm farm, so there's a lot of worm eggs in here, maybe some small worms, but also a lot of worm castings. Because one of the problems with composting is you're going to bring it up to temperature. It's quite hot, and that will kill off any seeds or any weeds and everything like that, but also kills a lot of the bacteria and stuff. Not everything, but a lot of it. So when it starts cooling down again, I don't want to say the compost is sterile, but it's not as good as it should be. Reignite all those microbes, and how I do that is with some of the soil that I get from the worm bins. So I'm just going to incorporate this into here. So we're just going to chuck this in. There we go. That's our microbes in there. Okay, so that's the worm castings to bring in the microbes. And the other thing is we want to provide the microbes a home, and how we do that is with carbon. charcoal. And charcoal is a great way of sequestering carbon. So all I've done is made some charcoal from wood we've picked up. A little piece of carbon like this will hold on to water and hold on to nutrients, and also provides a home for microbes and stuff. So I'm just going to chuck that in. I'm going to mix all of this in. Another thing I do is eggshells, and that's just a nice way of adding some calcium to the mix. Okay. The last one is all that water that you chuck off when you finished making rice or pasta or even potatoes. I keep that. This is a great food for fungi, and I'll use that as well. And we'll just chuck that in as well. I've got some potato peels in here as well. Probably could have put more in. There we go. And then I just mix this in. You can only really do this final amendment on compost that's starting to cool down, or is already cooled down, even better. Now you don't want your compost too dry or too wet. And one of the ways that you can test if it's got enough moisture is you take a nice handful and you squeeze it. And if it just drops, then you've got enough water. So this one's actually perfect. I'm not going to add water to this. I went and fetched water, but it's not necessary. I hope you enjoyed that. It might be a long one. We'll see how it edits. Yeah, please like and subscribe and share with your friends if you think anyone would get value out of watching our channel. Yeah, cheers. Till next time. Bye.